What is up, everyone? Welcome to Massive Unboxing number 19, the Black Friday 2024 edition. My first time officially doing a Black Friday massive unboxing. Last year I only got one model, and that was the Cubana Antonov 26, just because that sounded like an interesting model to me. But here we have 5 incredible models to look at, which is the absolute minimum that I will set for a massive unboxing. And I could have gotten more, but I didn't want to go crazy with the spending, so decided to take it easy, at least for the massive unboxing this time around, because massive unboxing 20 is going to be the Christmas one coming up here very soon. So we've got 3 total boxes to look at, and of course 5 models. The first 2 boxes that I have here are from Squatchies, and this is the first order that I placed on Black Friday. So the first model that we have in here, we have the NG models 1 to 400 scale Play Airlines Airbus A321neo. And then the other model that's in here is the Aero Classics 1 to 400 scale Frontier Airlines Airbus A321neo, and I believe this is the Orca one. Let's check the box. It looks like it's just all the newspaper and all that to protect it. And I'll go ahead and talk about what we're going to have in this massive unboxing. So, as I mentioned, we've got a pair of very lovely A321neos, and all the models that you're going to see, except for one, are of aircraft that I spotted during the Florida excursion. So, all the content's still coming out from that as we speak, and you'll have actually seen the Silver Airways trip report prior to this video premiering. So, if you missed out on that and you want to watch it, go check it out after this premiere is done. But if you did join me in the premiere initially, I thank you for that. But if you missed out on it somehow, go check out the Silver Airways trip report, where I fly from Fort Lauderdale up to Orlando. So we're going to get started with the first model, and this is the NG models 1 to 400 scale Play Airlines Airbus A321neo. Now, Play is a bit of an interesting airline. They are from Iceland, and this is sort of the sequel to WOW Air, if you will, because as you know, WOW Air, they were the low-cost airline up in Iceland to compete with Iceland Air, and they succeeded initially, but they were expanding a little too fast and drying out their assets a bit too thin, so they went bankrupt in, I think it was like 2018, if I remember right. I remember watching the Bright Sun Films Bankrupt video, which is a really good video, by the way, if you want to learn more about WOW Air, when that came out. So a bit sad to see that airline go, but then Play came in, took its place, and so far they've been doing pretty well. And they have a couple destinations in the US. They currently fly to Baltimore. I think they have Dulles as well, if I remember right, and maybe 1 or 2 others. Well, I'll look it up here while I'm editing this video. And while I was in Miami, I actually spotted this. Not this exact registration. It was Papa Lima Alpha that flew into Miami, and they actually fly those down there for charters to Cuba. And that would also explain why I saw the TCS World Travel 4 Seasons A321neo later that day. NG actually did do it, but with the 4 Seasons titles. Now it's got the TCS World Travel titles on it, so hopefully NG reissues that with the updated titles. So to take a look at the box, we've got Airbus A321neo, got the image of the aircraft, the Play logo, registration is Tango Foxtrot Alpha Echo Whiskey, NG logo, 1 to 400 scale collectible models, die-cast metal, and then there is the A321neo aircraft type down there, image of the plane, registration, NG logo. Item number on this is 13043. There's the right side of the box with almost the same details, but just the airline logo there in red, and then the top side and the left side. Back side of the box is pretty much the same and all that, so not much changing there. I think this was released in 2022, if I remember right, so this should have a card in it. Hopefully it does, because I believe this is a secondhand model, so let's see here. Yep, we do have a card in here, perfect. And it has not been scratched off, so thankfully the card is still in use. So there it is, we got the green one dated April of 22. So this was indeed a 2022 release. Super excited to have my first NG A321neo. I know there have been plenty of examples that NG have made of the 321neo that would work in my collection, like Spirit, but of course I got the Gemini release. But here, NG did Play, and Gemini has not, and that is a beautiful model. Awesome. First model out of the Florida excursion, and it's certainly not going to be the last. Massive Unboxing 20 is going to have a lot more models from the Florida excursion. And here she is, the Play A321neo by NG. I have to say, this livery actually looks really nice now that I've actually seen it in person and now have a model of it, of course. Very nice little model here from NG. And again, my first 321neo, certainly shouldn't have been my first, knowing all the other examples that are out there, but of course my preference has really been with Gemini just because of the cost and all that. NGs are a little more pricey, but of course you do get the better product in return for the slightly increased price. So I'm bringing the pen for the massive unboxing today. So starting off, up at the front we've got the cockpit windows, Airbus A321neo titles, and some little panel details down there. There's a nose gear and then the L1 door. One little stubby antenna up on the top. We move into the big, bold play titles, which the part of the A and the Y are shaped into an airplane. Very cool detail there. There's the Neo engines, which of course are more properly sized on the NG and pretty much everybody else but the JC. Flyplay.com are printed on the engines. And we have the winglets, which are just a blank color there. So not too much to report on there. Two antennas on the back, a Wi-Fi dome, and also have the Icelandic flag, registration Tango Foxtrot Dash Alpha Echo Whiskey, and then the very lovely play tail, which is the titles. Moving on over to the other side, shouldn't have too much else to report on over here, and we certainly don't. You can see the landing gear on there. The landing gear door does have the last two letters of the registration on there for the fleet code, but everything else pretty much the same on the rear of the aircraft. Now flip it underneath, no NG branding underneath, but all the printed details are included. Registration's printed under the wing as well, but not on the top. You can see it there. And of course, the top of the aircraft, not too much to report on other than what we've already covered. There's an antenna actually, no, there's just one antenna on the bottom and all the other fun stuff included. Nice little model from NG, and I know it kind of blends in with my background a little bit with that color there, the red. But this is an awesome model, would highly recommend, but it is kind of rare, so I was happy to see Squatchies have this up for sale during their big Black Friday sale when they had like 20% off on all models store-wide, and then there were bigger discounts for other manufacturers like Aero Classics, Dragon Wings, and even like Hobby Master and all that. So great Black Friday sale that he had, and that's where most of my business went to in this case. So now we move on to the second model from this order, and that's going to be the Aero Classics 1:400 scale Frontier Airlines Airbus A321neo with the Orca tail. Finally, I have a Frontier 321neo. I was meaning to get one at Airliners International in Kansas City, but I didn't because I couldn't find it. I would have definitely settled for the America's Greenest Airline one, which I actually saw in Orlando, so I'll pop up a clip of that as well. Saw it at the gate just after we landed from that silver flight. Pretty cool to see it, and then we also spotted a couple of the other regular livery Neos. One that was just taxiing around at the gate, and then there's another one that landed. I think it's actually the same one that landed that evening as we were concluding our spotting session at Orlando. So the Orlando plane spotting videos are coming out very soon. It'll be coming out later this week into next week. Stay tuned for that. Excited to share what I caught in Orlando, but if you want a sneak peek, head over to my Instagram page where I've posted the majority of the photos from the trip so far. So here we have the Aero Classics Baby Bus Models box, which I have covered a few times before, but it's been a while since I've actually covered it here. So there's the bottom with the barcode and also part of the livery on there, some other details. Registration of this model is November 610 Foxtrot Romeo, which I did not spot, but of course, there's a lot of Frontier Neos flying around now, so hard to get the specific registration in this case. A321 on this side, adult collectible model warning, aeroclassicsdirect.com, and then the other Airbus A320 family types, and all of them are on here. Aero Classics presents this exciting new range, baby bus models. Now the Aero Classics 320 family gets some criticism because of like the landing gear specifically, and this is actually, this is my first Aero Classics baby bus model, or baby bus range of models, if you will, to have the NG, the new gear variant. So they updated the gear slightly, but I don't think it's actually been that much of a difference. So yeah, got a little piece of foam on the nose gear, and there we go. Finally got a Frontier Neo, a critical asset that I've been needing for a long time because Sioux Falls, we've gotten them on several occasions, and all my other airports have gotten them as well. So had to drop out Frontier on quite a few occasions now because of the 321neo and me not having one. Really hoping that Gemini or NG would have done one. I am surprised that they have not touched on that subject. And Aero Classics beat them all to it. Even Panda, for God's sake. So I don't know what the deal is, why they won't do it. And then here we have Aero Classics, who just have to settle for what we've got right now. So, but I know quite a few people who are holding off and hoping for like NG to do the Frontier 321neos. But you know, if you're impatient like me, I think you just have to settle for the Aero Classics at this point. I mean, it looks okay, just on an initial glance. It's not the best model in the world, but I wouldn't say it's also the worst either. I think it does have some redeeming qualities, but also has some takeaways that we'll take a look here, starting now. So starting up at the front, we have the cockpit windows right here. Aussie the Orca, so that's the actual aircraft name. L1 door, and there's a look at the new gear, which actually doesn't look that much different. I actually bring in my Frontier A320neo real quick. So there is the A320neo, and you can see that the gear is a little bigger on the A321neo. So yeah, the wheel size is definitely enlarged, I guess just to help so that the wheels don't fall off as easily, but I think there's still been some complaints with the gear just because of the way that it's designed and all that, but what can you do? Honestly, it doesn't look too bad, but you can see it's actually very shaky. It looks like that axle's about to come off. So I'd be a little scared of the wheels falling off here in a little while. Hopefully that doesn't happen because the 320neo, I'm missing one of the main gears, so hopefully that doesn't happen here. But then as we move to the rear, we have the Frontier titles up here, which of course the colors are way too dark. Aeroclassics historically has gotten a lot of the modern models' colors too dark. Why? I don't know. Maybe it's the skirt licensing issues, but whatever the case is, it's definitely not helping them. There's the engines, which that's kind of the redeeming quality with the Aeroclassics mold for the Neo anyway, is that the engine size is a little better. On the right side there, you can see it's kind of touching the ground almost, so more of an issue with how the wings were installed, I guess. Then we have the L2 door right there, L3 door in the back, flyfrontier.com, registration November 610 Foxtrot Romeo, American flag, and then the Orca tail, which the printing isn't too bad. It's a little blurry, but you can only see that up close, so can't write off too much on that. And on the other side, you can see most of the same details over here. Not too much to report on there. And also there's a little, the heck was that? Okay, well there's a unknown substance that was present there. So just rub that off and we're good to go. But you also see a little bit of the winglet back there. Try to see if I can get that into focus. Bring my hand into view. Kind of see that the winglet there is a little misshaped, but it does have the Orca printed on there. Underneath, not too much to report on with the details, just one little beacon light down there and the landing gear doors, and then the beacon on the top, along with the overwing exits included. So no antennas on this model because that's how Aeroclassics likes to roll, and that is what we will be doing. We're not going to be rolling with this one because the darn wheels are going to come off if I do, so I have to be careful with that. But overall, this is still a solid model, and I would still recommend this if you need a Frontier A321neo in a pinch like me and many others, but I know that there are quite a few holding off for NG to release it at some point, but why they haven't done it is anyone's guess. Their release choices, we can talk about it, but that's not the main point of this video. They certainly have had a lot of work to do with regards to the release choices. So that brings us on to the second order that I made from Squatchies, which I placed my first order on Black Friday, it was the 29th, and then the very next day I placed another order because I saw another model that was really enticing to me and I thought it would look great in my collection, and this is an identical registration if I remember correctly. So yeah, I got a lot of tape to work with, but we'll have to cut through it this time. That's okay. I don't know why I'm cutting there at the bottom. I just have to cut up on the top here so I can actually open this properly. And this is indeed correct. So this is going to be a very unique model for the collection, but again, the Florida Excursion does things to you. This is going to be the JC Wings 1:400 scale El Al Boeing 787-8. My first El Al aircraft in my collection. Super excited to finally add this airline into the collection. And I got this because I spotted this exact registration at Fort Lauderdale. Right after Connor and I landed on our Spirit flight from Nashville, we saw it parked on one of the ramps, just on one of the hard stands, alongside a JetBlue 321 Mint new livery, and also the Boston Bruins A320, which I have spotted twice now, because I saw it at Boston in 2019, and then now Fort Lauderdale back earlier this year. So very unique box right here. I love the design on this, and if I grab my pen here. So we have Boeing 787-8 up on the top, Dreamliner logo, then we have the LL logo, image of the plane, and then the license for Boeing, 1:400 scale die-cast aircraft model. There's the bottom of the box, which does have the different registrations because they made 4 X-Ray - Echo Romeo Alpha, also did a flaps down release of it. There's the LL logo on this side, and then on here we have 4 X-Ray - Echo Romeo Bravo, which is the one that I saw, and got the normal wing configuration. I didn't want the flaps down one. On this side we have the JC Wings logo and other disclaimers, and then we have the Boeing 788 specifications on the back. Go ahead and take this out and see how this beauty looks. The JC787 mold is great. Would highly recommend it. I'm excited to add another one here with this El Al release. Let's grab by the tail here, so it felt a little greasy on one side, and we're golden. And I didn't do a QC check on the other Neos. I'll have to do that off camera real quick, but yeah, wow, that is beautiful. Takes me right back to Fort Lauderdale. Such a beautiful plane. And here she is, the El Al 787-8 by JC Wings. Wonderful model here, so let's go ahead and take a look at what she's all about. So starting off at the front, we've got the nose cone, cockpit windows, and then we have some text right here. Let's see, I think something related to Israel, I'm sure. Yeah, Hod Hasharon, I think is what it says. I'll do a little research here in editing. I'll pop up what it means. And then on the nose gear, we have the last 3 letters of the registration. Nose gear, of course. L1 door, and then we have the El Al titles right here. And then we have the awesome blue and silver that comes up across the fuselage there. L2 door, and then we have the 1 antenna up on the top and also the Wi-Fi dome. There's a beautiful Rolls-Royce engines on there. And then we have the L3 door and L4 door back over here. Got some additional text to work with as well. We have the registration right up there, Boeing 787-8, and they are a proudly all Boeing airline. Very cool. So now the second airline that I know of that has that printed on their aircraft, which the other being Alaska, and for a while that wasn't exactly true. But there's the El Al tail there with part of the flag of Israel printed on there as well. And then on the other side, not too much else to report on over here. We do have actually some different text, but I think that might just be Hebrew. The same thing that was printed on the other side just now in the native language. Then a couple luggage doors on this side and all the other fun details over here. And then there is the flag, the El Al tail right there. Underneath, we do have the registration printed on this side, and also the stand hole and other printed details. A lot of molded details even too. Like the air inlets up there, those are molded on. Very cool. And then the top of the aircraft also got the registration printed right there. Awesome little model here from JC Wings. Not a little, but it's a pretty big model for sure. Would definitely recommend this if you want El Al in your collection. I know Gemini did the retro 789, but that was on the old mold, so hopefully someone else does that on the newer mold, but I'm gonna get an older mold 787 anyway because that's all I could find. Probably guess what that aircraft is and based off what I spotted in Miami as well. So there's a hint for one of the models in the Christmas unboxing for the moment. Awesome trio of models that we have here, the 2 A321neos and of course the El Al 787-8. Awesome trio to start us off with Massive Unboxing 19. It's going to be a quick one for sure, but certainly a fun one nonetheless. Happy to do a Black Friday Massive Unboxing to keep the content going because that's what we do around here. Now I don't have my third and final order for this unboxing in yet, but through the power of video editing, I can take you to the time when I have that order right now. And here is the third and final order for Massive Unboxing number 19, our Black Friday edition. This is the Jet Collector box that I have, and Jet Collector had a really big Black Friday sale, but just like Squatchies, they had like, I think it was about 15% off everything in stock. And they also had a really cool section I'll talk about when I get to the particular model that I bought it off of. All right, invoice has been removed, and we do have 2 models in here. It's a pretty big box, but I imagine, yeah, the other one's going to be in the bigger box. So the first model that we have in here, this is the GeminiJets 1:400 scale United Airlines Boeing 767-300 with the Saul Bass livery, and I'll talk more about why I got that one. But then the second one, this is another Florida excursion model, and it is in the bigger box that I would have expected for this type. This is the Lufthansa A350-900 in the new livery. Excited to add another Lufthansa aircraft to the collection and another new livery. It'll be my third, since I already have the A330 and the 787 to work with. So we're going to go ahead and get started with the smaller box right here. So we'll do this one first. And this is going to be the United 763 Saul Bass. Now, I got this because not only is it a retro, but this was on a section that they had during their Black Friday sale called the Door Crasher section. And basically, they just applied massive discounts to a lot of old stock, mainly just stuff that had been sitting there for a while or just wasn't moving at all. So there was like a lot of models that I didn't really care for. But this particular one caught my eye because this is another Saul Bass aircraft that I can add. It's a GeminiJet and all that, and a retro. So it was only $15, so I decided, why not? Save me a little bit on shipping as well, on the cost per model anyway, and all that fun stuff. So excited to add another Saul Bass aircraft, and spotted a couple of the 763s with the Evo livery as well in Chicago. I think that was the last time I saw one. That's been a couple years now. So there's a model inside, lovely model in there, and there is the GeminiJets 2 pamphlet that we have. So this is under the Gemini 2 line. And then there's the bottom of the box. Registration is November 647 Uniform Alpha. There's the right side of the box, top of the box, left side, everything in between. Released in 2003. Item number is GJUAL448. This should be another one of the, this would be just like my Ron Allen and Widget Delta 763s that were released at the same time. Should be on the same mold and everything. This will be, I don't know how many Saul Bass aircraft I have now, but I've got quite a few. So here we go. How about that? Very cold to the touch since it's cold outside, but this is beautiful. Man, for a 21, almost 22-year-old model now, because we're about to enter 2025, it is in immaculate condition. This is an excellent rendition. And here she is, the United 767-300 Saul Bass by GeminiJets. I know Phoenix models recently released their own rendition of it, but again, because this was only $15 during a Black Friday sale, I'm just like, screw it, I want to get that because I don't think they even had the Phoenix rendition up on the Black Friday website anyway, so this Gemini rendition will suit me perfectly. So just start off up here, try and get you a little closer so you can see more details up close. There's the cockpit windows, and then we have a fleet code along with an ETOPS signature right there. There's the nose gear and nose gear door and everything. Pretty basic, but again, for the time, that was the standard. L1 boarding door up here, and then we move into the United Tulip, along with the United Billboard titles. So this is the later rendition of the livery. Move towards the wing section there. You have the engines, cradle mold as you would expect for a model of this time. And then the landing gear, it is rubber, but does not roll. However, it can be flattened out really easily. Check out my Ron Allen 763 for that, because I've had that model for a very long time. Then we move to the rear with the American flag, registration November 647 Uniform Alpha, along with the United Blue Tulip tail. And definitely feels a little thicker compared to some of the other Saul Bass tails that I have. But, oopsie daisy. Thankfully didn't do anything. But we're good to go. So here's the right side of the aircraft. Not too much to report on over here other than a couple luggage doors and everything else. Just kind of all the same on this side with a couple new additions over here. Bottom of the aircraft, we have the very large GeminiJets logo, Stanholm. No other details printed on there. And then on the top, we do have the overwing exits and other printed details along with a beacon light up towards the front. Awesome little model here from GeminiJets, over 20 years of age. Definitely would like to check out the Phoenix rendition as well, just to see how that holds up to the Gemini release and see if that one, it should have a lot more details, like the little minor panels and everything. Definitely you'll find them on the Phoenix rendition, but if you want one right away, I mean, this Gemini release is not half bad. If you can neglect the minor details that are not printed on here, because this is a 2003 model, certainly not a bad offering. So happy to add another retro model, and I figured, you know, for $15, why pass up on it? Just a great little model. Happy to have it. But now we move back to the Florida excursion, and we have our final model for this unboxing, a large GeminiJets box. It's been a while since I've actually gotten a model in this size box, but we have the Lufthansa A350-900 in the new livery. So in this case with the Lufthansa A350, I did spot one of these in Miami. It was landing on runway 12, as did most of the other heavies that day. So, you know, we didn't get a lot of heavies on runway 9, but the ones that we did get, we certainly got some cool offerings, because I remember we got the Condor A330neo, the blue livery, that landed on the south side there, runway 9, and then there's a bunch of cargo aircraft that landed on that side, since some of the cargo operations are on that side of the airport. And then the British A380, Lufthansa Yankee Tango, all landed on that side, because usually they don't send the really big aircraft on the 12. The runway 8 or 9, the east-west parallels will typically get those. But as we check out the GeminiJets Lufthansa box, this is the standard design that they go with for all Lufthansa releases, especially with the new livery. Got the purple GeminiJets logo. There's the image of the plane, Airbus A350-900 with the registration and the current Lufthansa logo. Flip it open, you can see the model on the inside looking sharp as ever. And then we have the pamphlet with all the typical aircraft specifications and information. And then all the other sides and everything. Very cool to have this gray silver design with the Lufthansa boxes. This is my third Lufthansa box that I have of this particular design. Lufthansa officially licensed product released in 2023. I don't recall which release that was in that year, but certainly a nice offering from Gemini nonetheless. Item number is GJDLH 2052. I wanted to say DAL so badly because that's Delta's item number code, but it's DLH for Lufthansa since that's their three-letter call sign in the real world. See what has changed with the A350 after quite some time, and looking good. Let's do typical QC check just to make sure that everything is attached, and it certainly is. Awesome. Awesome to have a Lufthansa 350 finally. Yeah, I've definitely been needing to expand my international fleet quite a bit, and this Lufthansa 350 is certainly going to be a powerful asset for various airports in the US. I know like Austin, I think, yeah, they still get Lufthansa, and occasionally they'll get the A350, but I think every now and again they'll send in other things like the 787, the A330-300, again, both of which I already have. So it'll be nice to get the A350 in there as well at some point down the line, whatever works best for whatever airport I choose to do, because I'd love to do Austin. Austin's got some great variety with the European aircraft and airlines, so it'd be nice to do that airport, and this Lufthansa A350 certainly would be an excellent addition. So here we are, Lufthansa A350-900 by GeminiJets. I think this is they might have done another one before if I remember right, so I think this is their second release of it in the new livery, that is. I don't know if they did one in the old livery, but I will do some checking while I'm editing this video. But let's go ahead and begin with the review. Love to get a good look at the A350. Now, the JC mold anyway, it has gotten some criticism because of like the shape of the nose wasn't exactly right, but I think they updated it within the last like 5 years or so. So it's definitely a little better now than what it was when this mold initially made its debut. Starting off, we have the nose cone, and there's the cockpit windows, little pitot tubes, and the little Lufthansa logo, Star Alliance logo. There's the nose gear door with the last two letters of the registration, the nose gear. Move up to the L1 door, and there's a little sticker right there. Move into the Lufthansa titles up on top of the passenger window line, and then beneath it we have the aircraft type, along with an aircraft name. I will have to look that one up because I can't exactly read what it is through the viewfinder, but I would imagine it's probably like a German city or something, which was similar to the El Al 788 that I unboxed earlier in this video. Then move up to the L2 door. There's one antenna up there, and then there's another one of those little yellow stickers for like a airline award that they got. There's the engines right there, the very lovely Trent engines on there. L3 door, there's another antenna, and also the winglets, which this one seems a little high. I think both of the wings are actually kind of high on this. So I think the wings just didn't get installed right on this one, which is a bit unfortunate, but you know, typical QC woes of not just Gemini, but basically every manufacturer really. I'm gonna try and see if I can get on that winglet there. Right on the back, because it should have the Lufthansa logo back over there. Not going to work with me today, so I'll have to check it out here at another angle. So now to the tail, we have the registration Delta Dash Alpha India X-Ray Papa, along with the German and European Union flag. There's a Wi-Fi dome and another antenna, and then the Lufthansa tail, which originally used to be almost like a black color, but they changed it to be like a slightly lighter color. It's a very subtle change compared to what it was originally. But there you go, and I think there is another little detail there up at the top, which would be right up there. May not even be a detail or something. I don't know, I can't tell. But you can kind of see it there. It is on the other side, so yeah, not a defect there, just a normal detail. And then, yeah, sorry about the zoom here, it's acting finicky with me right now. But here's the right side. We do have the luggage door here on this end. And then moving up towards the rear of the aircraft, there's another look there at the tail. Again, this tripod, I don't know why, it just completely gets askew on me every time I move this around. It's just been a problem with this tripod. I've had it for a long time, maybe time for a new one at some point. There's the bottom of the aircraft with all the printed details and the very tiny GeminiJets logo. Again, keeps getting smaller every year. Certainly the 2025 models are going to have a super tiny one, or maybe it won't be there at all. Then there's the top of the aircraft, all the various details on there. No overwing exits on the A350, at least for Lufthansa. So that is the very lovely A350 from Lufthansa. And I'll bring in the United Sol Bass 763 just off to the right. That, my friends, is Massive Unboxing number 19. So here we are, we've reached the end of Massive Unboxing at number 19, an awesome Massive Unboxing despite the smaller size that this was, but again, 5 models for Massive Unboxing, that's what I always said is the minimum threshold for these types of videos. But excited to have shown you all what I got to add to my collection from the big Black Friday sales that took place a couple weeks ago now. The Frontier and Play Neos, incredible offerings from Aero Classics and NG models respectively. Again, I don't know why no one else has done a Frontier 321 Neo yet. That should change as we head into 2025 because it's kind of inexcusable for especially Gemini and NG to have not touched on those subjects. I know both of them haven't done at least the current livery Frontier in a long time. NG, I don't think, they have not even done a new livery Frontier aircraft ever. They've only done the 318s and they did a handful of those earlier in 2024. And the Play Neo, certainly a more rare type now. That was released in 2022 and has become a little more difficult to find. So, but just super happy to have found it at Squatchy's for a really good deal, and especially topping that off with the Black Friday discounts that made it impossible to pass on. What was also impossible to pass on was the United 763 Sol Bass for just $15 from Jet Collector during their Door Crasher sale that they had alongside the Black Friday sale, discounted like 30-40%. Just an incredible deal and hard to pass up on, especially when I got the Lufthansa A350 to go in conjunction with that. Another awesome model that I spotted when I was in Miami. El Al 787-8, another incredible offering, and my first El Al aircraft in my collection, actually, so need to build that up on my El Al fleet a little bit. I know they've got a new livery aircraft as well on a 789, though that one is in storage last I heard, so hopefully that'll enter service soon, and once it does, I'm sure we will see some releases of that new livery by Gemini, NG, Phoenix, AV400, the whole 9 yards, basically, just everyone going to do the El Al new livery. They are all quick to hop on most of the new subjects that appear within the aviation industry. So that will conclude this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and hopefully you enjoyed the double premiere that we had today, the Silver Airways trip report to start us off, and then now Massive Unboxing number 19. Hopefully you all enjoyed, and have a great rest of your day. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next video.